Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about challenging things and how that's going to help with our motivation. When we first start looking and start talking about doing challenging things, we often think about like Red Bull people doing Red Bull type stuff, Alex Honnold climbing El Cap with no ropes, and like adventurers just going out and adventuring sort of like forgotten lands. So that guy, I'm forgetting his name now, the guy that just basically went for a walk and just covered like the entire length of the Amazon. But when we start thinking about challenges, these are the type of stuff that we sort of typically think about. We often forget that sort of adventurers at some point had to hold the parents' hands across the road. Mountain bikers, even though you see them going soaring down mountains at crazy speeds, doing crazy jumps over some very technical stuff, at some point probably had stabilizers, and at some point we all had to get into the shallow ends with our armbands on and learn how to swim. The moral of the story is we all have to start somewhere, and once we start we need to be motivated enough to keep on going. So in order to progress we need to be motivated. In order to be motivated we need to be successful. We need to have those wins. So the question, how important is challenging work to motivation? The answer is very. Just before recording this, I actually went out for a little bit of a walk. There's just like a bit of a park. On the way back, I was thinking about how I was gonna speak about this and how I was gonna sort of like bring it to you. And on the way back, there was like a family coming through the woods, and they were on the bikes and they were coming up to an incline, but it genuinely wasn't much. Like it was just a very steady incline, and they came round and they took one glance at this incline and they were on the bikes, and all of them universally were just like, oh, I can't do that, I can't do this. And I just sort of like stopped and turned around and watched, and while we're going up it, they were telling themselves how they couldn't do it, but they were actually doing it at the time. And I just think that's pretty interesting, really. And the reason why is because often as adults, we tell ourselves a narrative that we can't do something before we've even started. And we often tell ourselves we can't do something while we're doing it. So for example, not everyone's not their thing, but people like to go skiing. But some people, one of their barriers might be, well, I can't ski, so therefore I can't go skiing. And the reason why they won't learn to ski is because we've learned what embarrassment looks like, and we're going to go, well, I don't want to be seen to not to be able to do something. I'm not going to allow myself to go onto the beginner slope, fall over 1,000 times and get better, because we've learned that embarrassment, that failing, that's a very painful thing, but we need to accept and embrace that in order to move forward. Otherwise we won't go anywhere. Likewise, I run a workshop once a month for people that want to learn how to lift weights, and people come and they always start very, very conservatively, and they're afraid almost, and we speak about this, and they're afraid to try heavier weights, because what they've learned and what they've been told through the media is, if you don't do it perfectly like this, then you're going to hurt yourself. And that just simply isn't the truth. If you simply started where you start and accepted where you started, and you progressed at a rate that you can comfortably manage, you're probably not going to hurt yourself. Then it seems, however, that the magnitude of the challenge is created in our minds. The bigger the barrier that we mentally put in front of ourselves, the harder it is for us to start. And the real challenge really is staying present, accepting our limitations, and working at a rate that yields a really good return on emotional investment. So what I mean by that is, if we aren't working hard enough, we aren't going to get enough return. If we're working too hard, we're more likely to fail, and therefore we're going to stop for a period of time, or even stop altogether and hinder our progress. So we've got to get the emotional, the physical, the mental and the emotional investment right in order to get enough success back, in order for us to keep on going and get some level of success that motivates us to keep us marching forward. I actually found this paper, and I was going to read this little section from it. Okay, from the results section. Okay, so it goes like this. Winning is consistently shown to be related to physiological changes such as increase in testosterone and serotonin levels in primates. It reliably leads to mood changes that serve to motivate winners to continue their competitive efforts. What that's saying is, I know it's related to competition, but what that's basically saying is, when we win, we feel good. When we feel good, we're more likely to do it again. So I'm going to use sort of like, because my background's in fitness, I'm going to use this sort of example. So fairly frequently you'll hear this, and you'll hear this all the time, like no pain, no gain, and people look for DOMs and things like that. Now, if you're new to fitness and you're new to sort of strength training, then waking up every day in pain, that's pretty miserable, to be honest with you. I try and train people, or try and encourage people not to get DOMs as such, but to feel good. Because what we want to do, we want to work for a win. We don't want to ever. We're not designed mentally to basically sort of like accept a handout. It may feel like that at times, but we're not. We want to earn our wins. So when we get the level right of being able to work reasonably hard, get us success, and then win, that's very motivating for us. It feels great. So when we do that, we're more likely to do it again. So if you're going to go ahead and do some training, you need to work reasonably hard, but you don't need to be sore. You just need to be successful at it, whatever that success looks like. And we all start at completely different ends of the spectrum. So another person's success is another person's fail. I don't like using the word fail, but for lack of a better term, that's going to be the one to use. We need to accept where we are. And in fitness, this is quite a hard thing for people to do, because we have in our mind this idea of what fitness and health looks like. And when we go out and execute it, or we try and do something, we go and try and run, and we try and lift some weights, or we try and do a pull-up and we realize we can't, then the vision that we have, the story that we've been telling ourselves is all of a sudden dashed. And then we have to accept there's a moment of grief, there's a moment of letting go of what we thought we were, and we have to be totally responsible for where we are right now. If we can build from where we are right now, honestly, from an honest place, then you're going to get some success. And as you get that success, you will more likely to repeat it and keep going, because we'll want that serotonin release. We want to feel good. But the first thing is we need to accept where we are. I use physicality quite a lot, but it doesn't have to be just that. I use this app. It's called Elevate. Can you see that? I'll do this. This is called Elevate. Basically, this is brain training. This is something that I do every day, and it just helps a little bit from really basic stuff, like sort of like basically maths and English and how to sort of like structure sentences and stuff like that. Because what I didn't know all the way through school, and I only actually found out in university when I was losing fairly consistently, sort of like a whole bunch of marks, just basically being dyslexic, and I didn't know this at the time. So basically I just did what I've just been talking about, which is I just needed to accept it. I found something that I can get some wins from. It's actually gamified, so I actually go ahead and do that. And yeah, it is frustrating. Like, I hear other people speak, and I read other people's work, and it is really, really frustrating. Sort of like, I don't believe I'm ever going to be as good as that, but then I'm comparing someone else. I'm comparing myself to someone else, so then I have to work quite hard to stay present. And that really is it to doing challenging things and becoming motivated from the challenging things. And I do that Elevate app every day. And you should seek out a challenge that you can do every day. And then to do it every day, you need to have an amount of discipline. And we spoke about discipline last time. If you want, the link is in the description below. I'll put it down there. In order to do challenging things, you don't have to be outrageously hard. You don't have to be these great, massive events. They can be very, very localized. So for example, me doing the Elevate app every day, genuinely, it's a challenge for me. It gets progressively harder. I do it every day. I turn up. I have to stay disciplined and make sure that I do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to get any better. I have to accept the level that I'm up to. And when it does get a bit harder, when I fail like that, that's very frustrating. But then you have to accept that, and I've got to learn how to improve. But it ends in success. And as long as I show up and do it every day, then we're all good. Once you've kind of learnt those skills of accepting, staying present, and winning, then this is a massively transferable right across the board. So what I want you to do in the comments below is have a little think. What challenges can you do that you can do consistently and get some wins at? Write in the comments below what challenge you could do, and it doesn't have to be physical. It could be anything. You could either learn a language, you could learn how to play chess, you maybe could compete at chess, maybe you could start doing a puzzle, maybe you could do the Elevate app like myself. And more, maybe it's a physical challenge. Maybe you challenge yourself every day and you get yourself out and you do some exercise every day and you figure out what that is. But anyway, whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. Write it down and I'll make sure that I comment back. So just a reminder of the 3 things. Remember, we need to accept where we are, stay present, but most importantly, we need to win. We need to set ourselves up to win. Don't forget, we need to work for our wins. We don't want to overreach, but we don't want to underreach either. We don't want to underachieve either. We like to work for our wins. Okay, so try and really work to get that balance right, because if we teach ourselves what winning looks and feels like, the likelihood is we're going to keep on winning. If we keep on winning, who knows what's possible. you could be and achieve whatever it is that you want to be. So keep on winning, win the day, figure out what that looks like. Let me know in the comments below what challenging thing that is that you like to do or want to challenge yourself over, and I will catch you next week in another video.